When your child is preparing for tests or exams, your job as the parent is to be the calm in the challenge. Of course, we want our child to do well for so many different reasons, but it's so easy to get confused and about our role in helping them prepare for an exam or for a test. We can so easily get confused about how much we should be involved, how much we should push them, how much we should just support them, how much we should just trust them to know what they're doing. And it's going to vary from child to child. Some children are really on it, or they've got really great support at school where they've really learned how to prepare well for tests and exams. Other children, not so much. They're a bit all over the place. They don't know quite how to get themselves ready, but they are in that sea of anxiety and pressure and stress. And so many children that I work with now feel the academic pressure and the financial pressure, like they're going to, if they don't do well in these exams, they'll never get a job, they'll fail in life, they'll never make enough money to live or have a family. And that's too much of a burden to put on a simple test or exam. I know they're important, and the children need to have a balanced sense of the value of these exams, and at the same time not feel like it's the start and end of life. And because so many children now are crumbling under the anxiety of that, they're put under so much greater pressure than we were as children. So what's your role as their parent? Well, they're climbing a mountain. You're not climbing the mountain, it's their mountain to climb, and you know your child best. You're the world expert on your child, so what do they need? Do they need a Sherpa carrying snacks? Do they need someone shouting from behind, kind of cheering them on? They certainly don't need to be dragged up the mountain. That's never going to work. They're just going to feel like they're incapable, that you don't trust them, and that being forced to do something they don't want to do. So figuring out your role as a parent is really challenging, because what you're wanting to do is balance the pressures that your child is experiencing. If you can see them really crumbling under the anxiety, you need to somehow find a way of lightening that, whether it be doing some of their chores, running them a bath before bed, bringing them a snack while they're revising, helping them get up in the mornings, and not taking off some of the pressures that they might have of during that time in terms of other jobs around the house. Or it could be that you have a child who's really got it, but is maybe working too hard and needs you to come in and say, actually, now it's time to stop. Let's just listen to some music together, or do something to wind down before it's bedtime, because so many children have struggled to sleep. And actually, sleep is one of the best preparations that a brain can do for taking an exam. So it's not just the cramming, it's not just the being perceived to be working for it. It's also taking care of the body with good food, drinking plenty of water, getting enough sleep, fresh air and exercise. And that's not always something that children know about. So that could be what you bring to them. But you're going to need to take a good look at your child and see what do they need best to not just survive through this time of exam pressure, but thrive. As your child is climbing that mountain of exam or test preparation, help them to swap the pressure that is being experienced by so many of our young people now with perspective. Help them to kind of pause sometimes as they're climbing and look across at the view, and just remind them that whilst exams are important, they're not a matter of life and death. And actually really let them know that no matter what their grade and what their result, you're proud of them. You're proud of them, not just for the efforts that they're putting in to prepare for the exam, but just proud of them for who they are. That's what our children really need to hear from their parents. Their teachers will be giving them different messages that will hopefully be supporting them in different ways. But as their parent, your child really needs to know that you care for them, love them, are proud of them, no matter what, no matter how well or how badly they do. And then help them to find their motivation, not from the pressure that's getting put on them at school by their teachers or by their peers or from family. Of course, we want our children to do well, and we fear for them if they don't. But actually, they need to find their own why. What is it that that they want to do in life. And that's a bit too much to ask, actually, when you're 16 or 18 or even younger than that. How can they possibly know? So it's not necessarily deciding, oh, I want to be a vet, or I want to be a manager, or I want to be a sports advisor, or whatever it is that they feel like they might want to do. It's linking what the exams will take them to, not in a fear-based way, not in a, if you fail these exams then it closes doors and you won't be able to go on and do whatever's next. It's more kind of like, just trust yourself, what you're enjoying studying, what you're loving learning about. And yes, it might be, they might need a bit of kind of gentle kind of reassurance that lots of people don't like studying for exams or being tested. Some people do, though. That's a bit of a chore. But if they put their energies and their efforts mostly into what they love and what they enjoy, that will in turn lead them on to more things that they love and enjoy. So not to worry about doing brilliantly at everything. Some children can do that, but most children, it's better to focus on what they really love and enjoy, because that will then lead them on to studying those subjects in further detail, which will then lead them on to working, perhaps using some of that information and knowledge that they're bringing in at the moment. So allow them to feel that sense of trust, that what they're motivated to learn, what they're enjoying, is where they can put their biggest efforts and really try hard to do very well. And then those things that aren't such a pleasure for them, that they don't really enjoy learning, not to swap a high number, those 8s and 9s, for their mental health and their mental well-being. What's more important? Your child's sense of their own sense of themselves and their well-being, or getting a whole bunch of really high results? Help your child create a revision ritual or rhythm. We all do better when we don't have to keep deciding to do something, but we have a sense of, okay, when I get in from school, I have a snack, I have half an hour of downtime doing something I really enjoy, and then I do 45 minutes of exam prep, and then I have another little break with a snack, or I go downstairs, or I go down outside for a breath of fresh air, and then I do another 45 minutes before tea, and then I do something relaxing after dinner, or whatever it is that works for your child. Chunk it down, but also help them to create some sort of rhythm. Otherwise it can become overwhelming, it can become daunting. But again, don't be the taskmaster, don't be the one who's the timekeeper. Sit down with them at another time when it's not the time to be thinking about doing some revision now, but talk with them about, well, what works best for you? When you come in from school, what do you need to do first? How can I help you? And be willing to be a bit more in attendance, a bit more in service to them. Maybe greet them with a hot chocolate, or do something fun with them when they first come in. It could just be as simple as putting on a favourite tune and be willing to prance about the sitting room with them. Something enjoyable and fun that lifts their spirits, and then set a timer, and actually don't let them go beyond that time. Pop in and kind of go, hey, time for a break, what do you want to do? And also don't feel that it's all your responsibility. Make it theirs. Give them that they're in charge, that they feel like they are figuring out a way that works well for them. This is a life skill that you're helping them acquire. So if you're the one driving it, if you're the one kind of reminding them and pushing them, then they've not learnt anything that they can take forward into adult life. So whatever it is that you create with them, make it fun, make it that you're in support of them and that they're driving it. And don't confuse yourself with your child. It's so easy to mix ourselves up, so to think what would help us would be what would help them. That's not necessarily true. Do by all means share with them what you find useful when you've got something you've got to get down to that's a bit daunting and a bit big, and it's over a long period of time, and it's not that much fun to do necessarily. But then help them find what works for them and support them in that. When we're preparing for something big, like your child preparing for exams, it's really easy to confuse time in front of the books or in front of the screen, reading through their notes, looking at their study materials, practicing exams, is all that's needed to prepare for exams. Actually, that's not the case. There's so much research to show that finding a good balance of work time, break time, time with other people, just having fun, time outside, fresh air, plenty of sleep, a good drink of water from time to time, all those things actually are good exam preparation. Boring and not necessarily obvious. So that's where you might come in as a parent in reminding, popping in and with a glass of water and a biscuit, or popping in and saying, I'm walking around the block, do you want to come with me? Helping them to understand that sleep actually is as good exam preparation as time in front of the books. So it can help you too then also to keep in perspective that these exam results, they're not an indication of how good a parent you are. So many parents feel not only do they want their child to do well for their child's sake, but for their own sake. They take it as a reflection on them, and it's really not. Your job as the parent is to prepare your child for adult life. And there will be many times in adult life where they have to prepare for something that is daunting, is hard, is maybe tedious in the preparation. So helping them to figure out how they do that best is a really important part of your role, whilst also remembering that there are many adults out there who are doing incredible things, who've got really bad exam results or no results at all. So don't confuse their test results with how good a person they are, how well they're going to do in life. Your job is to really be on their side, to cheer them on for their effort, not their results, and remember that how they do is not everything. Who they are and how they are is far more important. So cheer them on for that. Help them see what qualities and what strengths they bring to this world, not just the numbers that they're going to get allocated at the end of these exams. So as a parent, helping your child prepare for exams or tests, you need to be their calm and their cheerleader, and sometimes their comic relief, because together you can get them through it one step at a time, learning that the most important thing is not just the result, it's how you get there. And that will be something they can take on into adult life. If you'd like more, then please go to our website, writesforgirls.com. Rights is spelled R-I-T-E-S. Scroll down and there you'll find a free video that gives you the secret to calming your child's anxiety in just 5 minutes.